Right, what we're looking at here is 5 movable patterns with which you can play a pentatonic scale on a fretboard of a guitar in standard tuning. I've owned a lot of books, and not all the books that I've owned present this information. If they present it at all, they don't tend to present it on one page, and they tend to present it like this. Maybe if you're lucky, you get that much extra information. So you've got like square notes where the root notes are. In this case, I'm placing the root notes so that you can make a minor pentatonic out of it. Actually, the patterns for a major pentatonic are the same. It's just the root notes are lying somewhere else within this pattern. If you're thinking, right, there's 2 notes per string, 6 strings, so that's 12 notes, that's 12. So what, have you got like 60 notes here to learn? No, you don't. Minor pentatonic, if we treat this as a minor pentatonic for now, has 5 notes in it. Do, mi, fa, sol, te, do. I'm using the solfege terms. They're equivalent to root note, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor seventh. I'll talk about that stuff a lot more in another video. Really what I'm trying to tell you is that there's 5 notes, and there's maybe 3 octaves you can cover with using all these shapes here. But those 5 notes in 1 octave, a middle octave, and then a higher octave. So what we need is a system to look at this and only see it as 5 things rather than see it as 60 things that we've got to learn. And one of the main methods I use to kind of digest this information is the square. So hopefully here you can see why I'm calling it a square. It's 3 frets wide and 3 strings high, if you like. So 3 by 3, if that was centimeters, that would be a square. Here you can see pretty obviously that that's a square as well. I mean, it's really identical there. Notice that the middle of the middle row on the right hand side is your root note. Same there. Now this is kind of distorted, right? But you've still got that thing where there's an empty space between each of the rows, and the right hand side of the middle row is still a square. The reason for this distortion is actually because your B string and your G string are tuned together 1 semitone closer than any other pair on the guitar in standard tuning. I think of this as a gap, the gap. That's not a proper musical term. You're not going to talk to a musicologist about the gap. It's just what I call it. I'll call it that consistently throughout these videos. But when I'm visualizing this, I actually think of green sticky spider web going at a kind of, I'm weird that way, it helps me remember or something, joining those 2 strings together, because what it helps me to think is if I'm using that muscle memory to climb up a square here, I'm on figure 1 and figure 3, and then I need to remember move my entire hand to cross the gap, and then I continue as normal. Something like this. This is actually the bottom row of a square. It's been cut off. You might like to think of the fretboard as a window onto an infinite pattern. The infinite pattern that these pentatonic scales come from is the subject of another video later. But let me elaborate on something. Say I'm playing a simple version of All Day and All of the Night by the King. So I'll go do, do, te, me, do, and I'm probably doing that with finger 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3. I can take that muscle memory and I can place it in any other square, another register, another part of the fretboard. Do, do, te, me, do, and it'll still work. I mean, when I cross the gap, I might have to change my fingering a little bit. Like here, I'm probably do, te, me, do. Sorry, so that would be finger 3, that would be finger 1, and that would be finger 2. Beg your pardon. But I hope you can see how you're just reusing the same information, the same fingering. If you learn to improvise there, then improvising there's pretty much the same. The string feels a little bit thicker. The timbres may be thicker. Maybe you're in a lower register. But it's pretty much the same moves to get a lick out of this form. Same as this one. Same as this one. In the next video, I'm not sure what I'll do next. I'll either talk a bit more about the gap, or I will show you the rectangle, which is how we understand the remaining notes there.